Welcome, fam. It's Mr. Frederick back again. Happy Thursday. Another live for you guys today. We're going to start off with a Bible verse. Okay, it's a good one. Let's see here. Hope everyone's doing good out there. Uh, hmm, it's so difficult to get to. Okay, so today, fam, the verse is family. The verse is 1 Peter 4:11. Okay, so what that says is, if any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability with God give it, that God in all things may be glorified through Jesus Christ, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Wow, that's powerful. So you know what that's about. That's pretty obvious right there. That's hey, if he's speaking the word of God, and you've heard me on these lives before say when I get the trolls come in, when you see someone speaking the word of God, let them speak. Let them speak, whether you agree with it or not, whatever your stance on it, let them speak. This is not from me. This is straight scripture. You let that person speak. It's not always about who's listening, okay? Because you're going to have good and bad listening. You're going to have evil people listening. You're going to have lost sheep listening. You're going to have all kinds of people listening. You're going to have all kinds of people listening. And today's live is going to be about staying youthful and keeping that youthful exuberance, keeping that youthful spirit. And how do you do it? So I have identified a few things, let's say about 4 main points that keeps you youthful. And one of the things that keep people youthful is the fact that you have to have a spirit of letting go. You can't have a spirit of holding on to things. You can't have a spirit of being trying to change things, uh, trying to have a fixed mindset of this is what it is, and I don't want to adapt. I don't want to. You have to have an adaptability to you when you are trying to be youthful. Because it is an effort. Good morning, sir. My toddler decided to come out as trans. You know what? This is trolling early in the morning. But yeah, you have to have a spirit of laughter. You see how I just did that? That's a great example. This is a troll here, but I'm laughing. I'm not taking it serious. Now, I'm not saying every time I'm going to take it lightly like that because we're human. I have my times when I'm a little more irritable, like all people. However, for the most part, I don't take stuff like that serious. I don't take anything in and absorb it and all that kind of stuff. That is what ages you. That is what, God willing, I'll be 50 years old in a few months. So, what keeps me, and people always come up to me and ask me, like, no way, you're almost 50. No way. They think I'm like way younger. And I try to tell them that it's really just, it's God first. It's God first, always. But on top of God, is God gave me a youthful spirit. I don't feel older. I don't feel like a middle-aged man. I literally feel like I'm in my 20s. And I really believe that's because I have always been joyful. I've always been someone who loved comedies. I've always liked to laugh. I've always liked to just not really take stuff too serious. Not really. Now sometimes that backfired on me though. Don't get me wrong. It's not always good. Sometimes you need to take things a little more serious. However, overall, it's been more of a benefit for me. And science actually backs it up. Your neuroplasty, it's also your dopamine, your serotonin, all of those feel good hormones, all of those chemicals in your brain are lit up when you have a youthful spirit, when you laugh, when you don't hold things in, when you express yourself, being able to express yourself, don't hold anything in. It's unnecessary. It's like, it's not going to make everybody happy around you, yes. However, what it's going to do, it's going to calm and peace, give you peace. And that's what's important. Okay. You're not here for everyone else. You're not here to make everyone else happy all the time, and you're miserable. Because if you have that mindset, you won't express yourself. You will hold things in. You will be around individuals that pull you down. So you don't want that. You want to live as long as possible and live as healthy as possible. Another thing, laughter is great, expressing yourself. You don't want to be too stressed out too long. That cortisol, that builds up in you and that ages you. That it causes inflammation in your body. So you don't want to be around individuals that just have negative feelings about you. If they feel that way about you, that's fine. You can feel that way about me. Get away from me, okay? And come back when you got a different perspective. And you really have to protect your peace. You got to guard it like a sentry. You have to have, your shield, your armor. You have to protect your peace because, family, what you got to understand is a lot of people in this world, they project their shadow onto you. They project all of the things, all of the issues they don't want to face, that they don't like about themselves, and they see something in you maybe that they don't have or they feel like they don't want to face. And that's what happens is they'll project all of that on you. So you have to guard against that, okay? They're not always going to do it immediately, but they will eventually, you will see it if you're around them. Now, if you're really good and you're really instinctual, you have great, you're intuitive, you listen to your intuition for one, because a lot of people have intuition, but if you were around, depending on how you grew up, if you were around like gaslighting parents, those people are very susceptible to, they listen to their intuition, they know it's there, but it's that last little piece of, okay, I need to move. That last little piece that might hold them back of getting away from somebody, getting out of a situation. Come on, guys, give me some likes. Give me some likes. Let's get some likes in here. So what you got to understand, if you grow up around those toxic, gaslighting, narcissistic parents, what they instill in you almost is like, don't trust your instincts. Trust me. Trust, whether I'm lying or not, and a lot of times those are patterns that get set in your life, and you will be around individuals that are like that later on. And you're like, why am I around this person? Well, that's because that's what you grew up around. People aren't supposed to gaslight you. All gaslighting is lying, pretty much. That's all it is. It's someone who is afraid. Usually the self-esteem is scarred. And so what they do is they're afraid of your shine. So what they do is they try to keep you at a certain place that makes them comfortable, because however high you are, it makes them feel lower. So you are susceptible to that if you had parents like that, and you probably had siblings like that. So what you want to do, stay away from gaslighters, stay away from lies, stay away from insecure people. And like I said, if you grew up in environments like that, it's going to be a little bit I guess you would say, more difficult, but you can still do it. But it's like anything, it's a muscle. You got to work on it. You just have to say no to what you know. And that's the difficult part. You have to learn to say no to what you know. But the positive thing is as your neuroplasticity grows, as you change, your brain develops, as you get better information, and as you align with your actual self, as your life aligns with who you believe you are should align with what you have. If you see that you're out of alignment and your life does not align with what you feel you are inside, so you can't walk around saying, I'm a confident person, I believe in myself, and you got you marry your wife, your spouse, husband or wife, is someone who's saying that you can't do it, is someone who browbeats you, talks you down, that's a total, you're not in alignment. How can you say you're confident? How can you say you love yourself? How can you say you honor the Lord and you got someone who's not honoring you right next to you? You're not in alignment, and that can't last. The only thing that's going to happen, come on, guys, give me some likes. Don't just watch, give some likes. But how can you say that you are in alignment with yourself if your actual life that you're living does not align with what you're saying? It has to be, they have to go together. How you're living, what you have in front of you has to align with what you believe. Okay, so That's one way you will always be able to check yourself. You could just do a quick inventory. Does this look like what I envisioned for me? Does my current situation, that's all you have to do. It's not, a rocket science. Does my current situation align with who I believe my true self is, my truest self? Because a lot of times early in life, what we're living is not our true selves. It's what we were told. It's what we were told we should be. It's what society, what our family, what friends, what our social network told us to be. We're trying to get validation and approval when we're younger. As you get older, you start to see, hey, who cares about what these people think? Half of them will be gone, and as the time goes on, they'll pass on, and you live your life for people that's not even here anymore. And you're still here. You still got life. You still got breath in you. So that's why I kind of always knew that. I don't know. It comes from God, but I always was one of those type of people. I really didn't care what people thought, because I was like, okay, this person is no better than me. Why should I care about what they think? And their opinions change. Sometimes people love you. Sometimes people don't like you, depending on. I don't want to be a victim of someone's opinion. Okay, one day they wake up, they feeling good about me. One day they wake up and they not. And my hormones, my levels, chemical imbalance in my brain has to adjust to what they feel. And that's what happens when you're in these relationships sometimes, that you drew in from basically your past self, from the self that you had that was not even put into you, not your true self. It was what was imposed upon you, what you thought you should be. But that's not what you should be. What you should be in seek of and in search of is your truest self, and you should live your life in alignment with who you truly are. And it's not easy, because when you are in midlife, a lot of times you've already set up a certain way of being. So you're going to have to go through a period where you got a clean house, and it's just going to be you and maybe a few, or maybe nobody. But it's not going to be those same people that no longer serve you are going to be around you, because they don't serve who you are anymore. Maybe at that time in your life, you had a family, or you were that type of person because of how you grew up. Because, I'm trying to prove to my father or my mother, this is what a father or husband should be. A lot of us have these internal dialogues, and we play them out in how we live our lives out. So we're almost living off of what someone else, just the existence of someone else. Our living and our life decisions we're making are based off of that, not off of who we truly are, just based off of the circumstances we were born into. And that's out of alignment. You want to be in alignment, not your circumstances, but who you are. You could have just been born into any kind of situation, but that's not who you are. It takes a lot of courage to embrace who you truly are, because that means you have to remove the mask. You have to remove your mask that you was wearing to fit other people's approval and validation, okay? And a lot of times that's going to, like I said, it's going to be hard, because you got to be honest with yourself then. And a lot of people don't want to be honest, because what it's going to say is maybe some things that aren't so great about them. But you got to remove the ego when you're trying to find your truest self. And that's the only way you're going to individualize yourself. You cannot reach true individualization until you until you face these hard truths about yourself. You cannot get to that point. There's no way. And that stage of individualization can come at different. It's good if it comes when you're younger, but it can come at different stages depending upon your life. Everyone doesn't have the same life. Everyone doesn't have the same. We're different. We all have a different life path. But your job is to find and accept and go with the flow of your life path. You had Colonel Sanders, the guy who started KFC. I think he was 60 years old when he started Kentucky Fried Chicken. You have several. Henry Ford, he was in his 40s. You have so many famous, powerful business leaders and all walks of life, individuals that are very influential, that later in life they did great things. And the reason is because that's when they found their purpose. They found it at that time. So first you got to you have to unleash all of the beliefs of, this age, I can only do this. because I'm this age. I'm too old to do this. Come on, guys, give me some likes. I'm too old to do this. I'm too this to do this. Too late for me to go to school. It's too late for me to look for a new career. This job is all I know. You know what? Guess what? What happened during COVID? Everybody, it was people in the restaurant business that were making six figures. Okay, managers, all sorts, even waiters, waitresses was making all this money, and then all of a sudden, no more restaurant business, no more hospitality business. So it was people that was making a lot of money, had careers that they had to change. And that, just think about that. That ability to change and learn new things at an older age, that actually works for your brain. Your brain starts to reconstruct itself. When you are able to adapt and grow like that, your brain neural pathways, new ones are formed because you have to have a new brain to do new things. So doing new things, embracing new challenges is a part of growth. It's actually good for you to do it at an older age. If you want to slow the onset of aging, be young. Do young things. Don't limit yourself to what people told you. Think about it. If we didn't have the Roman calendar, the Greek Roman calendar or whatever, we didn't have that calendar to tell us how old we are. How we know how old we are? There wouldn't be a way we could really gauge how many days are in a year. Someone had to set that up. And it's changed. You know, it's changed over the thousands of years we've been here. So how will we know how old we are? It's in your mind. But guess what? Your mind is so powerful. When you believe you're old, you're old. When you believe you can't do that, you can't do it. And just like Mike Tyson said before he get into his fights, he said, well, most of the people, I'm not going to imitate Mike Tyson, I want to come back at me. But he famously always said most of his fights were won before he got in the ring. They were won because the people were already scared of him. They already thought they lost. But what happened that night in Tokyo? He faced a guy who had lost his mother a couple weeks before that, okay, who had nothing to lose, who gave him that work, gave him that business. And it was because Buster Douglas didn't care. Buster Douglas didn't care about who Mike Tyson was. All he knew was, you're in front of me, I'm peed off, and I'm going to put you on that canvas. And that's exactly what he did. And you have to have the same approach about anything you want in life. Anything you want to approach, you got to have the idea of nothing's going to stop you. Not age, not size, not race. You know, a lot of people, oh, I can't do this. They're coming down on me because the man, and I'm black and I can't. They holding me back. Ain't nobody holding you back. If you believe someone's holding you back, yes, that's holding you back. But I'm never going to believe that. I'm never going to believe something hold me back. And it might be right in front of me, but then I'm not taking it. Okay, I'll give that to someone else. That rule applies for someone else. It don't apply for me. Okay, because before anything, I'm a spirit. And guess what? God can do all things. So if you have a mentality that because of these physical limitations that someone else imposed, we didn't even have the idea of race at certain times in history. Before 500-600 years ago, we didn't even have that idea. It was just, that man is from the east. That man is from the west. Those people are from the south. That was how people identified themselves. You're from over there, you're from over here. Okay, so you cannot take other people's limitations and categories, and you cannot impose them on yourself, because mentally it's going to limit what you can do. And I always was like that. Because when I was growing up, I had friends that looked different in different places and spent the night over their houses, and it was no different. When it gets different is when people get older and they start to divide resources and opportunities and things of that nature. That's when people start imposing those differences and those barriers on each other. But the reality is you don't have to ever adopt that unless you want to. Now, sometimes in your life you might want to, because you see injustices and you get inspired and it's nothing wrong with that. Okay, because the beauty of life is you have the beauty to grow, change, adapt. Okay, you don't have to have a fixed mindset. And actually, the science points to, if you don't, the neuroplasticity in your brain is better. You grow new neural pathways. You improve when you have a growth mindset, because what you do is going to be different. You're going to embrace different challenges and opportunities. So remember that. Remember that, family, that don't embrace or don't take on someone else's belief system. You want to be youthful. If you want to live a youthful life, adapt to change, okay, embrace growth, okay, let go of things that no longer serve you, and people, situations, and places, that don't fit your idea of who you are. They need to be aligned. Who you actually feel you are, okay, and what you're doing and what you have around you, they need to be aligned. They need to be right here. And that's when you have that individual, and it's an ongoing process. It's never going to be a time where you just, I'm here. I'm everywhere. I'm no, it's not linear. It's not fixed. You are constantly working on it every day. You're evolving every day. You're looking at new beliefs. And guess what? The world around us is evolving too. Let's see. Hello, I visited again in your live and sub too. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm doing wonderful. Everybody. So you got to understand that we're evolving, we're growing, and that's a wonderful thing. Don't feel bad because as long as you woke up this morning, you have the opportunity for new experiences. Okay, new experiences. Don't ever feel like you're bogged down to no. All things are possible. Okay, all things are possible, and keep that with you today. Keep that with you. Keep as you go about your day to day. I want you to remember when I'm saying that all things are possible, and that it's all up to you. It's all up to you and your ability to face yourself. Face that shadow self, okay? Face that shadow self. Now, I want everybody to enjoy their day, okay? And I want everybody to be appreciative and remember, it's all about growth. It's all about growth, and what you believe, that's what you'll achieve. And when you align yourself with what you believe about yourself, that's when you can see the differences. Okay? If you don't want to be in a place where you don't feel you deserve, it starts here. It starts here, okay? All right, guys. Remember, love what you do and do what you love. Next time.